Ernest, the master producer over there.
Dedicated. Obsessed. Focused. This is the Masters of Fitness podcast.
Welcome everyone to the 6th episode of the Masters of Fitness podcast. How's everybody doing today out there, Thad? How you going, Thad? How you doing today?
Doing good. Been busy today.
Busy today?
Yeah.
Heard you cook like 300 lunches for the masses of the world today.
29.
29?
Yeah, 29 lunches.
What's on the menu today? What you got?
Turkey taco meat.
Turkey taco meat?
Turkey taco meat. It's a fan favorite.
A fan favorite. What's the sides?
Somebody was talking. The sides are sweet potatoes, broccoli, and rice with vegetables.
Well, I would like to let you know that I enjoy food as well. So
Dude.
I haven't eaten today. You could have brought your co-host a plate.
Man, I was in such a hurry. I was doing good to get everything put in the refrigerator.
All right. So you want to, so you got an announcement to make. You want to share the people the news, the good news, the announcement? What you got going on?
Yeah. I've recently, I moved gyms.
Move gyms.
Yep,
So where you at now?
I went to, I'm working out at Golden Triangle CrossFit. I mean, not Golden Triangle CrossFit. I'm sorry. That's where I used
It's
to work
still in
out.
your heart. It's still in your heart.
I can't stop saying that. CrossFit Beaumont.
Okay, cool.
I'm at CrossFit Beaumont now. I made that move about, it's been 2 weeks now. Week before last, I went over there. And I'll be coaching my my endurance class over there starting June 22nd at, I believe we're going to do it at 8:45 in the morning every Saturday.
So same type of, same structure to the class, same endurance,
Right.
get your wind up, get your speed up, everything's going.
Yep. Get that heart rate up and keep it there for about 30 or 40 minutes.
So people, you could now find Thad at CrossFit Beaumont.
Yep.
8:45, same endurance class.
Yep.
Like we said once before, it's geared towards increasing your conditioning to help you push through those longer WODs and help you learn how to maintain that steady heart rate and be able to work and push through. So I decided to do something stupid. Last week, a buddy called me and asked me, he said he had a challenge for me. I say, okay, whatever, a challenge. I thought it was going to say like a marathon or do the MS 150, which I was already down for, but he said, you're going to do an Ironman.
An Ironman.
So you just want to bundle all three of them together. So
Full Ironman.
A full Ironman, which I don't think is normally too bad, but when you're a guy like me who can't swim, to going to trying to swim 2.4 miles is going to be a challenge. So
You better get you some floaties.
that's all right. I signed up for adult swim lessons at the natatorium so people don't laugh at me. So we all got challenges in life, and that's one I'm going to partake and I'm going to overcome this time. So
You'll be all right.
I'll be all right. All right.
Yeah.
So without further ado, as you all guys all know, I would like to say our first big time famous guest on the air today, on the show with us today on the podcast. So I would like you guys to give Miss Jillian a round of applause and welcome her to the show.
I'm flattered. I don't know
You're
about
flattered?
big time, but I'm
Big
flattered.
time? Hey, you're big. Hey, look. When you're a couple of guys like us just put on the show, I was joking at class, I was joking at work, and I'll say when we tagged her to the post and she reposted, I was like, now I feel like I'm famous now. Because everybody just start randomly commenting. I say, who are all these people? So welcome. We're glad to have you here on our show today.
Glad
So
to be here. I'm excited to be here. I've been looking forward to this all day.
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Got to get a little closer.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, look, get a little closer to the microphone.
I want everybody to
Come
hear
on.
what she has to
Yeah,
say.
you got some good stuff to say. Let's so tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get down here to Southeast Texas? A little history on Jillian.
Yeah. So I went to school for journalism, and a lot of people in the broadcast field, you got to move around a lot, till you get, from job to job, getting where you want to go. I always wanted to end up back in Texas because I'm originally from the Dallas area. I grew up in Midlothian, Texas, south of Dallas there. So went to school at Arizona State, was there for about 3.5 years, then moved to Missouri for my first job. Then from there, bounced down to El Paso, then moved all the way across the other side of the state, and now I'm here.
So
From one side of Texas to the other.
Yes, and it's a long drive. So
Yeah, it is.
yeah, Texas is pretty big. Yeah,
About a 12-hour drive, huh?
Yeah.
you can literally drive 8 hours through Texas and still be not even halfway through.
Oh, I know.
So let's backtrack a little bit. I've heard rumors about Arizona State that it's the #1 party school in the nation. Is that true?
I mean, I would say that's not inaccurate.
It's not inaccurate. It's not inaccurate. So
But I mean, I think you could find a party anywhere if you look
yeah.
hard enough.
If you look hard enough, you can find a party anywhere. It's no big deal. Just something I heard. Just a little rumor I heard. So tell us a little about what you do at the local station and your job and all that.
Yeah, so I am the morning co-anchor there as well as a producer. So we produce the show. I write the scripts. Well, we all kind of work together. It's a 4.5-hour show, so it takes a lot of teamwork to get that put together. So we start bright and early at 1:30 in the morning getting the show together before we ever go on the air at 4:30. So
Excuse me? You said 1:30 in the morning?
1:30 in the morning.
So what's normal bedtime for you?
Well, it depends on the day. I actually usually do 2 naps, break it up in the day because I also teach some classes, some yoga classes at night. So depending on the day, it's 2 naps. If I get to sleep straight, I love to lay down at like 4 or 5.
So, I read
So
somewhere.
you'll take 2 naps?
Usually, yeah, I try to get 2 naps in, maybe 2 or 3 hours for the first half of the day after work, then wake up, do whatever I need to do, go back to sleep.
So I read somewhere that it's best for humans to sleep sleep for 2 hours. Well, the thing is, you sleep 2 hours, you wake up, you do some work, then you sleep for 2 hours instead of sleeping for a steady
8 hours.
8 hours straight throughout the day because it's pretty hard. So you're actually ahead of the curve with the naps in between the day.
Yeah, I'm hoping one day I feel ahead of a curve. You feel ahead from doing that, but
It's still a challenge. So we got you on here today to talk a little bit about you just recently did a bodybuilding competition, correct?
I did my second one, and I had no experience doing any of that till I moved here. So that was just something I decided to do. Everywhere I've lived, I've tried to pick up one new skill, and that was one I decided I was going to go for.
So what made you get into it? Just on a whim or?
Well, so I've always been active and into fitness, but I never really had any goals, I guess you could say. I mean, goals, I wanted to be healthy, but I just called up a local gym here, Chad and Heather Feldman, because I was looking for a change. Mm-hmm. I wanted to up my training. So I just went there, and I never really had any plans to compete. I knew that they trained athletes, but one day he just suggested it one day. We were there lifting, and I was like, oh, okay, guess so. Then I went on my first prep. And woo, I didn't know what I got myself into, but I stuck with it. And I'm really
that
glad
prep,
I did.
takes quite the dedication, doesn't it?
It did, yeah. The first one was 18 weeks. That's a long time.
18 weeks.
Golly, that's a long time.
So I know when people think about bodybuilding, the first thing they go to is these super massively overbuilt people that look, just anybody, just muscles on top of muscles.
Right.
Explain the actual type of bodybuilding that you compete in and what's the difference between them, if you don't mind.
Yeah. So there's obviously different categories. So for the women, bikini, figure. And I mean, you do see those massive people there. Obviously, those are out there. But I really like bikini and figure because it is about building muscle, but you still look really feminine.
Okay.
And but you're very conditioned and athletic, and that's what attracted me to that. I saw those girls, and I was like, I want to look like that.
Yeah. That's good. Hey, that's motivation.
Yeah,
motivation.
Exactly.
So that's good. So how did you do in your competition, if you don't mind us asking?
Yeah, so my first one, I got second last year in novice, and then this year I did second in open and then first in novice for my class. So
okay.
I did bikini last year. My goal was to do figure, which is the step above bikini. It's a slightly more muscle, but we decided my prep last year wasn't quite there yet. I needed one more year to build a little bit.
The way I understand it is you really got to pick the right category, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For your
for what
body
they're
style,
looking for. And I looked good last year, but I just needed a little bit more muscle. So my coaches were like, hey, let's do bikini. And I was like, okay. It at least gets me the experience of getting out there on the stage and doing a show. So we did that. Then we took an off season, grew a little bit, and then this year came back and did figure.
Cool.
So that was fun.
So you plan on doing another show?
I do. So I think I'm going to take a year off, grow a little bit more, come in a little bit more conditioned. And so I'm 28 now. For my 30, when I turn 30, that's when
That's a good goal.
To make it a little big
so
show there.
one thing that I noticed when I knew you were doing all these shows and you were in prep because I follow your Instagram and stuff like that, and I see you on the news in the morning, and I just don't know how you go on there smiling like you do, knowing that you're about to dehydrate yourself.
Yeah.
So how mentally tough is that Like just the eating, the work schedule. Because like I said, if I don't eat enough, I get drained. Or do you eat a lot? Or how is the diet? How does it work?
Yeah, I mean, you're eating, you're in a deficit, obviously, but you're eating enough. It's when you get, it's when you up the cardio and everything. I mean, things do get really challenging toward the end, but a diet is the hardest part because there was no cheating. I mean, you had to eat clean those 18 weeks, and you don't realize how good a cheeseburger tastes till you can't have one for a while.
And that's what, and a buddy's trying to convince me to do a show, and I was like, man, I just can't stop eating oatmeal raisin cookies.
It's hard.
It's tough.
Well, it's really fun to see the changes your body goes through. In those first 2 months, you're motivated. You're like, yeah, I see the changes. But you don't realize how many social events revolve around food until you are in a prep. Everything we do, we're going out to eat for dinner. We're doing this celebration and that.
And it's always cake.
And
So what are your, during prep, what are your go-to like little snack foods?
So I don't get to snack.
None at all?
It was 6 meals a day. That was it. There was no snacks. I did eat raw onions. I was allowed to eat those.
Oh, sounds delicious.
Great snack food. But greens, I could eat, a lot of greens, broccoli, zucchini. But as far as actual like snacks, no.
You see that, folks? Greens can be a snack. It's all about the mindset.
Yeah.
Hey,
you just have to close your eyes and pretend it's something else.
Something else. I had one of my older supervisors said his brother did bodybuilding, so he would like eat apple pies, but he wouldn't swallow it. He'll just chew it. And
I don't have that kind of self-control.
he would chew a donut and he'll get the taste in his mouth
out.
and spit it out and he'd be like, okay, I'm good.
Maybe I'll try that next time.
No, I
around.
don't know. It's like it'd be the pressure to be like, this is so good. So
Yeah.
actually, my group at work is kind of disappointed in me because we're having a celebration because I switched jobs.
Yeah.
And they asked me if I wanted a cake. I say, nah, because I'm trying to eat more healthy. I said, I just want
Right.
a fruit tray. I was like, what you mean a fruit tray? I said a fruit tray. I think because I remember it goes back to Ben Bergeron spoke about like events and celebrations could be detrimental to your diet because the culture around and just to eat junk food and eat sweet. So it's outside the norm when you eat healthy. People look at you and say, you don't eat cake? You don't eat this? They
Right.
no. Like, so why do you eat cake? So I learned from him and I flipped the script and I said, I'm going to get a fruit tray.
Yeah.
So everybody's going to be pissed off, but they'll be all right.
Well, it's funny because when you're out at those events and things like that, it's one piece of cake. But when you're in a prep, that one piece of cake can be a big deal.
Yeah. So, man, yeah, that's crazy. 18 weeks and no cheat meal. Not like a cupcake, a piece of cookie.
There was nothing. But it made the after meal very, very worth it. But yeah, the diet was definitely the hardest part, especially at work. If you watch our morning show, we do a lot of segments with cookies and cakes
like with
delicious things that I didn't, was not a part of. And my coworkers like to make fun of me for eating my ground turkey, at 4 in the morning. But whatever, whatever it takes.
Did any of that rub off on? Did it rub off on anyone? Any of the eating habits, the healthiness?
I think so. For some people.
For some people. I don't mean to jump ships, but this is bring to my mind this arm wrestling competition. I saw that.
Oh yeah, the arm wrestling.
Were you being for real? Were you taking it easy, or were you?
I mean, I could have tried a little harder. That was just something we did for fun because we do a gym membership with work, and a lot of people had just signed up, so we were just having fun that day.
Okay, cool. So we got the diet out of the way. Very strict diet, no cheat meals, 18 weeks. So what was your first meal? When can you actually eat your cheat meal, your biggest cheat meal? Is it the night before the competition or right after the competition?
Well, it kind of depends on how you look. So I didn't get a cheat meal the night before. He said
Okay.
it kind of depended on how I looked. So I had a steak for lunch after the show, but you still have to go back for the night show, so you don't want to overeat. So then I had a
okay.
big old bowl of lobster pasta afterwards, and it was so good.
Oh man.
Lobster pasta.
Yeah, I see all these people that do these shows, and then as soon as it's over with, they go and get these great big old hamburgers or like a big banana split or something. And I'm thinking, man, that has got to make them feel like crap.
Oh, it does. After being clean for so long.
Yeah, it's got to be horrible.
Yeah.
It tastes so good though. Huh?
I was watching the Ronnie Coleman documentary on Netflix, which is really good.
Yeah.
And he was telling the story about he didn't win his first competition until he started having cheat meals right before. I think it was one of the bodybuilders said he invited him to his room and they took shots and got drunk and ate pizza. Then he said the next day he came to like, he was just looking extra big and like ended up winning the show. And like, that's just what he started doing. So
Yeah.
it was always weird to me. I thought if you eat the night before, it'd throw your whole look off.
Yeah, it's just funny how it just depends on how you look the night before. Because I know some competitors whose coaches say, okay, eat a cheeseburger. But for me, it was egg whites. That's what I ate the night before. And so.
Egg whites.
Egg whites and spinach.
Egg whites. I used to eat egg whites every day for breakfast, but I would cook them in the microwave, and it'd just be like a bunch of water in the bottom of the bowl. It was rough.
I have them every day.
Every day?
But mine are in a smoothie.
Oh, I gotcha.
That
See, I
you know.
only drink them if I'm running late because it's
You
not.
can drink egg whites?
Oh, yeah.
I'm scared to get salmonella.
No, I've been doing it for 3 years, and I hadn't got sick yet.
So you just mix it up in like a protein shake or just...
Well, I make a smoothie every morning that has it literally has a whole cup of frozen strawberries, a cup of frozen blueberries, probably about a half a cup of plain white Greek yogurt. Let me see, and then there's right at 8 to 10 egg whites in there, and a whole cup of dry oatmeal. It's like 1,300 calories.
That's a big smoothie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm about to say that.
It makes right at 32 ounces, a little bit better than 32 ounces. I fill up a big Yeti cup. I can fill one of those up completely full, and that's that's my breakfast.
Really?
So I start off the day with a bang.
I don't eat breakfast.
Not a bang energy drink, but a bang.
A bang? Bang any drinks, all good. So we got diet out the way. So let's talk about your training. How hard is the training? How much do you have to train?
So I lifted 4 days a week, different body parts each on those 4 days. And then we did cardio 2 times a day for 30 minutes. So my cardio was walking on the treadmill at an incline for 30 minutes.
Okay.
Fasted in the morning. And then when I got off work, I did the other 30 minutes.
So you was pretty busy.
Yeah. So my fasted cardio was at midnight. I think that's what made it the hardest because.
Wow, hold
it
on.
was so-
That's right. So your morning fasted cardio is actually everybody's time when they're sleeping.
Yeah. And it's so tempting to want to hit snooze or stop when it goes off in the morning because, I'd rather sleep that 30 minutes, but you can't.
Right. Best thing to do is just turn it off and get up out of bed, huh?
Yep.
Well, my wife, she fuzzes with me every morning. I have like 8 snoozes. And I start at 4. I start my snoozing at about 4:15, and I'll keep it going until 5:30.
I set mine early enough, too, so I can do that a couple times. I totally understand that.
And then I look at it and I say, I got to get in there and get to the gym. So finally break it off. So training is, of course, diet is very important. Training is very important as well. So you speak about breaking your training days up. Do you just specialize on one muscle group each time, or do you have to, you can just kind of combine the two together, or?
Yeah, I do two muscle groups each day. So I train Mondays and Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays with weights, and then cardios every day.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So I like me and Dad talked about this before. There's a lot of women kind of stray away from the whole muscle building and lifting weights because they see the bodybuilding type women and say, I don't want to look like a bodybuilder. So kind of help us dispel that myth that if a woman was to lift weights, that they will look like a man.
No, you totally won't. That's what keeps everything, nice and tight and healthy, strong bones. And I was one of those for a while that just always did cardio until, several years ago. And then I picked up the weights and realized like that is where you get the, the toning.
Right.
And I've never felt better. I've never been happier with how I looked either. But I was kind of one of those that fell into that category. But weightlifting is like essential to combine with your cardio. So.
Yes. Yeah, so you said earlier before on air you spoke about a new element to your fitness as you did marathons.
I did, yeah. That was back in college. Like I said, I always had these, I pick one new thing to try, everywhere I live. And when I lived in Arizona for college, that was my goal. So I had never run more than a mile in my life, okay?
Really?
Yeah, I was not a runner. But I got my plan, laid it all out. I told my parents, I remember I came home for Christmas break, I'm going to train for a marathon. And they were like, okay.
Yeah, you're crazy.
And then I really did it. And so I did 3.
3 full marathons?
Mm-hmm.
I ran one. One full marathon. And, I have a lot of friends that run them, that runs, lots of them. But that hurt. That hurt me.
It's hard on the body.
Well, it hurt my, from basically about from the knees down. My feet, my ankles, and my toes and stuff were toast. But mine was a trail run.
Oh,
so it was
wow.
all kind of funky terrain. So it was hard.
Which marathon did you run?
That was the Seabrook Lucky Trails Marathon over there.
Really?
Yeah. It's a fun race.
See, I'm making me scared to run this marathon. My goal is to run a marathon in Houston in July.
Oh, wow.
Not July, January.
You can do it. You can
So-
do it. It's really rewarding. I have really good memories. I trained with a lot of really cool friends. Met a lot of people in the running
Yeah.
community. It was a lot of fun.
I ran in my Metcons this morning, and yeah, it didn't do justice to my
What'd you
feet.
do that for?
So my toes are hurting right now because I ran.
What'd you run in your Metcons for?
Bags, that's the only shoes I have. And you know those, even my Metcons are like 5 years old.
Look, you go over there to On the Run and go get you some running shoes.
See, On the Run, if you're listening, you could sponsor and send me a pair of running shoes. I'll be more than willing to review them and test them out for you. So,
There you
so
go.
how was it switching from the world of just cardio into weightlifting? Did you get the same feel as like accomplishment or end goal that you was looking for?
Yeah, I'll say it first. I did not find weightlifting very fun. I had to find ways to make it fun. I'm
Okay.
not one of those that I can train by myself. I need, like a trainer. If not a trainer, I'll have a friend go with me. To me, that makes it a lot more fun. But
Yes.
once I started seeing the results, I was like, okay, hey, maybe there's truth to
Yeah,
this
truth to
thing
this,
that
yeah.
you should be doing this. So, yeah, I was really happy with that.
How long did it take till you actually start seeing some muscle development, switching from that, more endurance style, longer muscle to the more?
I saw within 3 to 4 weeks, I started seeing differences, which was pretty quick. And I was like, wow, I guess I do have it in me. I can do it.
So was it just like immediate jump into bodybuilding, or did you start working out and then decide you want to do bodybuilding?
Yeah, the bodybuilding came later. I just
Okay.
started lifting, and then I changed up my diet, changed my training plan just to see what would happen. And I was really happy. And then I thought, well, hey, why not? I've already started. Might as well take the next step,
Yeah.
It's cool. So you too can do a bodybuilding competition, everybody. It's not fun, easy to do. And women, you could get out there too. You don't have to be super bulky and look, like you say, a quote unquote man. So
Yeah.
Jillian is the prime example of you still look feminine and be a bodybuilder.
Yeah, absolutely.
So-
And I think a lot of people, when they see the pictures, or at least I've heard, a lot of people say genetics plays a big part in like the bodybuilding world, which I mean, to an extent, yes. But somebody put it, I heard it best from a nutritionist one time. They told me that good genetics only loads the gun. It's a healthy lifestyle that pulls the trigger.
Exactly.
And I cannot that's just so true.
Yeah, I buy that.
Yeah, somebody could be born with big shoulders, but if you don't define them and develop
Right.
them, you're just a guy with big shoulders.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it.
So, but that's cool. So bodybuilding, as we know, is just one aspect of your fitness world, your fitness whole thing you got going on. Explain to the people some of the other things that you partake in, that you specialize in.
So aerial yoga, I teach that around
Area
town.
yoga. I'm scared of ground yoga. So,
It's actually really fun. That was my El Paso thing that I picked up. I was like, I'm going to learn something new. So that's what I did. And I ended up loving it. And I came here and now I'm teaching, which I didn't have any plans to, but there really wasn't a place in Southeast Texas that was offering it. So,
okay.
I found a gym with some tall ceilings, and there we go. For those that don't know what it is, it's silk. It's a silk hammock.
Mm-hmm.
And you're doing a lot of the yoga poses that you would do on the ground, but it's suspended, decompressing the spine. It's great for the back.
Yeah.
So you're a certified yoga instructor also? I mean, for ground yoga?
I also teach at Beaumont Power Yoga.
You do?
So in that community as well. Hmm.
Right.
Wow.
Where did you get your yoga certification?
So I started teaching yoga back in El Paso, just doing some private lessons, and then moved here and got involved in the yoga community here. And then that's when I actually started teaching at a studio. So
Gotcha.
yeah.
Cool.
So what could they find you at? They want to partake in your classes for the aerial yoga or ground power yoga.
So aerial yoga, we're at HHGC Gymnastics in Vidor,
Okay.
and the big gymnastics facility, because they've got the tall ceilings that we need for aerial. And Beaumont Power Yoga, I'm Thursdays at 4 p.m. right now.
Okay, cool. So for a guy like myself, how could yoga benefit me? Somebody who's probably as tight as a stressed out rubber band when it comes to muscles.
Yeah, a yoga. I think you see all those pictures online of the real complicated poses, and maybe it scares people away. But
Yes.
I mean, it's great for flexibility. It's great for strength and just relaxation. Just taking an hour to yourself to do that has so many benefits. Like I know for me, I do 30 minutes of yoga. I try to do it every day. Probably ends up being about every other for myself, but it actually helps in your weight training as well with your mobility.
Yes, mobility is my that's my biggest hang up.
I mean, I love yoga, but I just don't have. I can't find the time to fit it in there. I did it for about I don't know. It's been about 3 years ago or so. I got on a roll where I was going every day. Every day I'd go to like a 5:30 class over there at Beaumont Power Yoga. It was a different name then, but I loved it, and I kind of started getting halfway. I'm not gonna say good because you can do it for a lifetime.
You say halfway,
but I mean, I was getting to where I could make it through a whole power, a whole hour and a half power yoga session and feel pretty good about myself.
Yeah.
But is there a difference between power yoga and just normal yoga?
There's a bunch of different classes, and the thing I love about Beaumont Power Yoga, each instructor's different. So power yoga, moving through the flow a little bit faster, or there's one that's it's about mindfulness. Mindful yoga is one of our other instructors. There's hot yoga. There's vinyasa flow. There's so many different kinds of yoga. There's something for everybody. And that's what I love about it. If maybe you come in and you think there's no way I can do this, everything can be modified. That's what I love about it.
Hot yoga. People pay to do hot yoga. That amazes me.
But hot yoga is where it's at, though, Ernest.
Why?
Because it just gets your body hot and just helps your muscles relax and get loose.
There's something very calming about it. When you're in the middle of it, you're like, why did I do this? But
so when you say
there was
hot
times
yoga,
when I was doing it.
How hot is it?
I was thanking God I was not wearing a heart rate monitor.
So how hot is hot yoga?
At the studio there, I want to say don't quote me on this. I want to say it's 90, but I don't teach hot yoga, so I'm not sure what
that's
they
not
keep
too
it
bad.
on. But it gets pretty warm in there.
That's not too bad. CrossFit gyms are pretty hot, so maybe it won't be as much as much of a challenge as I think it is. So, and where's the yoga studio located?
Beaumont Power Yoga is actually off Calder. You know where the New York Pizza and Pasta is?
Yes,
Okay. There's a strip mall there. It's right next door to that.
Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. I might have to come partake in the class. Power yoga, you said at 4?
I'm at 4 p.m. on
4
Thursdays
p.m. on
right
Thursdays.
now.
Okay, cool. Thursdays is normally my rest day. That's when I promise myself I do
There you go.
mobility
That would
work.
Be the perfect.
That's it.
It's a perfect
Instead
time.
of doing yoga I do yoga once a month. Then every time I do it, I'm like, this really helped. I'm gonna keep doing it. I don't do it again for 2 months. This time, do it again for 1 more month. So how much are the classes? Or
at Beaumont Power, it's $10 a class.
$10 class. Okay, that's not bad. See, it's affordable. Fitness can be, but I always tell people you should invest in your body and in yourself. $10 to, especially at my elder age, like I like to call myself. Mobility is, I learned the hard way of when, as you get older, everything starts to tighten up.
It does.
So you don't have that flexibility that I had when I was 21. Now you get those lower back pains because you sit down all day in the office. So I think they said like sitting down is the new killer because it just drains you.
It does.
I didn't have back problems. I don't want to say back problems, but pains in my lower back when I work out until I started a straight up desk job.
Yeah, sitting. Yeah, if you're sitting in a chair all day, I notice it too because I sit a lot for my job and I feel it for sure.
So people go out to Power Yoga.
Beaumont Power Yoga.
Beaumont Power Yoga.
Beaumont Power Yoga on Calder near New York Pizza and Pasta, and Aerial Yoga in Vider.
Yep, at HHGC Gymnastics. We'd love to have you.
Do I have to sign a waiver if I do aerial yoga?
You do.
Okay. How high off the ground are we?
Well, it comes to your lower back, so that we hang from the waist. You're not far from the ground, so.
So can anybody do it? Is it beginner
Absolutely.
friendly, and do you have to
Yeah.
go like through a training course, on ramp?
All levels. Like, of course, if it's your first time, we go through everything with you. But
Okay.
yeah, all levels. I have everybody from, I even teach kids aerial too. So
Oh, okay,
everyone
that's cool.
from 11 years old all the way up to, I've even had somebody 75 years old. So everybody can do it.
Yoga. So switching from yoga, there's many more levels to your fitness. So let's talk about scuba diving. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
So for a guy who can't swim, how does one? First off, let me tell y'all this scuba diving story. So I wasn't scuba diving. So we was in Aruba. Everybody was snorkeling off a party boat. Of course, you know what goes on a party boat. Had a couple of libations, a couple of drinks. So my buddy's hyping me up. hey man, let's go jump in the water and go snorkeling. I say, you know what? That's cool. Put my life jacket on, put my snorkeling thing on, jumped in the water, jumped in the middle of the ocean. You ever want to see somebody drown with a life jacket on? Just look at me. I just remember my wedding ring spiraling down to the bottom of the ocean, and I was just sucking in so much water. It was horrible. That's how. So
your ring came
my
off?
wedding ring, yeah, my wedding ring just came. That's why I don't wear one now, is I lose them all the time. My wedding ring came off and floated down. I literally thought I wasn't gonna make it back on the boat, and I was only 5 feet away from the ship.
Oh,
so
no.
it's so how did you get into scuba diving?
So this was funny. It just came up in a conversation one day because actually my coaches that trained me for that bodybuilding show, they're big into scuba. So they always talked about it, always showed me their pictures. And then In-Depth Scuba, it's actually in Viter. They have a shop there. He was putting on, it was in December because I was like, who's going to give a scuba certification in December? But lo and behold, there is a place, guys. You can do it. So we did it in 2 weekends. You go, you do the book work, you learn to, in the swimming pool, get used to all the equipment. And then you go to do your open water dive, which we went to the Blue Lagoon in Huntsville for our final dives.
Okay,
and
Hunts
Smith
Vegas.
Lake, yeah.
I went to college at Sam Houston.
Oh,
so
did you?
yeah,
There
yeah.
you go. Yeah. Actually, I didn't know if I was going to be able to do it because I felt kind of claustrophobic putting that mask on and breathing. I was like, "There's no way I'm going to be that one person that gets in this pool and can't do it." But
So at work, we always put the SBCA's on, the respirators, and it always freaks me out. And I'm like, yeah, it's weird.
yeah. But it actually wasn't that bad. Once you get it down, I was fine in the pool, and then I was like, well, I'm going to be scared when I get in the open water. But really, it was so pretty. My first dive that wasn't a training dive was in Costa Rica back in January. It was beautiful.
Really?
I wasn't thinking about the stress of, what if I don't do this or that? I mean, obviously, I learned all the safety.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
This is amazing.
And that's the biggest thing. I guess you just freak out because you figure like, well, what if I don't turn my air on, or what if it stop working? If I run out. But I guess that's why you train. Then it becomes second nature to you.
Yeah.
My only experience with scuba diving is we were in Cancun, I think it was, and all my friends that I was there with, they were scuba divers. I mean, they go down, 100 feet and stay down there for however long, the tank would last.
Yeah.
And they were like, Thad, you need to do this. They give free lessons down at the pool. And I'm like, all right.
Free lessons at the
I go down there to the pool, and I go through all the little lessons, and they're like, yeah, sure, you're good to go. I get out there in the middle of the ocean, and yeah, that wasn't so good. Without any training, you didn't know what to expect, and I went down there, and I'm like, oh my God, I couldn't clear my sinuses,
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of,
I could
too.
not do it, and it was horrible. My ears just, it was pretty bad.
So is that pack pretty heavy that y'all got to swim with, or is it just, or do you not really, after a while, you just don't, it doesn't bother you anymore?
I mean, the tank itself is heavy, but when you're in the water, it's not.
Yeah, because you actually have weights on to get you down to the bottom.
Really?
Yeah.
So what you're saying, I could automatically float?
Well, I mean, you inflate it to float on the top of the water until you're ready to go down.
Okay. All right, cool. So a normal guy like me can learn how to scuba dive.
Yeah, you should try it.
I should try
I
it?
think so. Yeah,
Let me learn how to swim first.
fears.
Let me learn how to swim first, and I'll give you and Tyler a call, and y'all can teach me how to scuba dive.
Might want to go visit the scuba shop.
Scuba shop.
I wouldn't hire me as a scuba instructor.
Scuba
just
instructor?
yet.
Did you yet? Okay. So we got scuba diving, skydiving. Talk to us about, how did you get into skydiving? As you can see, so we didn't cover marathon running, professional bodybuilding, yoga instructor, scuba diving.
Yeah.
Now skydiving.
Yeah, skydiving was the skill I decided to pick up when I lived in Missouri.
Okay. So literally well, that's good. So each city you go to, you pick up a skill that you could always relate it back to.
Yeah.
Cool.
Just keep adding to the
the repertoire.
Yeah. So I just was like, that'd be kind of cool because I did a tandem dive for my 18th birthday, and I loved it. I was like, I want to get certified, but I mean, it's kind of pricey, and when you're in college, you can't afford that. I couldn't anyways. So then my first job, I just called this place up, and I was like, hey, I want to take your course. It's called Accelerated Freefall. He's like, all right, come out on Saturday. Signed up and did the course.
Accelerated Freefall. What's that?
So that's the course to get your certification.
Okay.
It's 25 jumps. Well, your graduation jump is 25. There are certain skills I had to repeat, till I mastered it. But you start with 2 tandem jumps. So I did that. And then the very first jump with my coach on my own, And yeah, there's 25 jumps, and there's skill sets that you have to check off for each one. And so then I graduated and got my A license, is what we call it. There's different licenses you can get depending on what you're doing. But yeah.
Ooh, so how many jumps have you made?
I'm up to 67.
67.
67.
So
What does it feel like? Does it feel like a roller coaster when you jump, or is it a different feeling?
no, it's different. Everybody thinks it's like the roller coaster. It's not like that at all. Once you're out the door, it's just like being in a big wind tunnel. If it's really windy outside, yeah. And the view is amazing. You're never going to get a better view.
So how long does a jump last? How long do you get to enjoy it?
I mean, it kind of depends on a lot of different factors. But for me, with my body weight and everything, free fall about a minute or so. And then under canopy, I mean, you can come down as fast as you want. Or if you're in full flight, you can stay up there for a little while.
So you do your own jumps. So do you have to like fold your own parachute and everything like that?
That's part of the AFF course. You have to take a packing class. So.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I'll be so scared.
So my dream skydive.
Dream skydive.
Okay, we're going to jump out. Everybody, we're going to play a hand of poker in free fall, right? So we're going in free fall, playing as much as we can. Pull the parachute, we're going to go down. Then we're going to scuba dive to the bottom of the ocean and finish the round of poker.
Really?
Yeah.
You're going to do that all in one?
Yep.
I thought you was joking, so she's for real. So let me backtrack.
I
So
haven't worked out the logistics.
Logistics, so yeah. So you're going to skydive, and you're going to start a game of poker.
In free fall.
And you're going to free fall and finish the game at the bottom of
the ocean.
of the ocean.
Yeah.
Man, that's pretty cool.
That's my pipe dream. For anybody wondering, I have not figured out the logistics of that.
But you have goals, though. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, she's got lofty goals.
yeah, they got lofty. You didn't pretty much done everything a human could do in regards to fitness. That's why we call you the Renaissance woman. So I guess it's kind of like the icing on the cake.
Yeah. Well, we still got to tackle base jumping.
Oh yeah, base jumping. Now I heard that's a little bit more dangerous.
It is. Hey, maybe one day I'll try it. I don't know.
Try it now. That's maybe I might do a. Can't you? What's some local places you could go? Well, I guess local, but do you have to skydive here in Southeast Texas, or do you have to go to Houston to partake?
Spaceland Houston is where I've gone. So I don't get to go quite as often because that's a little bit more of a drive. Whereas when I learned in Missouri, I was like 30 minutes away from a drop zone. But I try to go when I can. You know, there's a lot of factors. You got to have a good weather day. You can't have a lot of clouds. Depends on the winds.
So it's not just about getting in your plane, going up and jumping, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of factors. Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
So what else do you have? So we talked about some things you've done and some certifications that you actually have. You picked up a skill in every city that you go. So I guess you're going to add bodybuilding to Southeast Texas, right?
Yep.
What you going to attach to us?
This is my first podcast ever.
Okay,
Wow.
so cool.
So you guys are giving me a first experience too.
There you
My
go.
first
Good.
podcasting experience.
So
Put that on the list.
Put that on check mark. Check that off of Jillian's bucket list. Masters of Fitness podcast done. So what are some other goals, some things you have in mind and sight that you would like to accomplish or like to do that you haven't yet experienced yet?
In fitness or just in general?
Just in general, fitness, general, or just some goals you have, something you would like to do.
I really want to travel more. I've been really blessed to be able to travel as much as I have, but there's a lot of places in the world I haven't seen yet. So I'd like to get to a place in my life where I can take that time
And just travel.
Yeah, I would love that.
Traveling is fun. I feel like people limit themselves to the world when you don't travel, because you become so closed-minded to what you believe here in Southeast Texas. Then when you see the world,
Right.
it opens your eyes to so many other things.
Yeah. I never want to get too comfortable because there's always something else to learn. There's always other places to see.
Yep.
So
That is true.
That's
It's
true.
always something to learn, people. Pick up a book, read it. Any reading any good books lately?
Oh, I'm a huge reader.
Huge
I
reader.
just finished Damon West's book.
Okay.
The Change Agent. Right now I'm in the middle of the Mueller report. Just thought reading that for work. But last year I read, I think it was 110 books for the year. I try to keep the reading up. I read every genre, whether it's a genre I like or not. I just like to, be well-rounded.
110 books. What's your favorite?
My favorite genre?
Favorite genre, favorite book?
I
You had one book to take with you on a desert island. What would it be?
Ooh, that's a tough question. I would have to say I really enjoyed Pride and Prejudice. I've actually read that 3 times.
3 times. Cool.
But my favorite genre, I would say, is like mystery, crime.
Crime novel? Okay, cool. Cool, mystery.
I just got a new book, Ernest.
What's that?
The new Pete Rose book.
Pete Rose.
Mm-hmm. The Making of a Baseball Player.
Is that what you posted on my page?
Yeah.
Pete Rose, the
Charlie Hustle.
Charlie Hustle. You know why he hustled that? I told you. I'll put that on my Facebook post. He hustled because he knew he had to win his money back from gambling. That's why he hustled.
But he was one of the hardest playing ball players ever to walk the face of the earth.
Yeah, he was a good guy.
He once
good ball player.
Put a guy in the hospital during an All-Star game.
Yeah, because he ran the dude over. That was crazy.
Yeah.
Don't hustle that hard in All-Star game.
Hustle hard.
I want you to add, Thad recommended this book to me. If you get a chance, check out the, ever heard of David Goggins?
Yes. My boyfriend read that book. It's on my list. I need to read that
check
one
it out.
next. Yeah.
I would, on that book, that's one of the ones that I would say get the
audio
book to it. Because
really?
it's a mix between a radio show, a podcast, and an audio book. And he interjects his thoughts in each part they actually talk about.
Oh, interesting.
You don't want to talk about somebody
really
you want to talk about somebody that lived a challenging life. It was this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've read some excerpts. I'm really excited to read the whole book.
So you read 110 books, people. She read 110 books and produces a show and did a bodybuilding competition, teaches yoga. What do you not do?
Well, I'm always looking to add more skills. Who knows? What
Try
I'll do
CrossFit
next.
yet?
You know, it's been a couple of years since I tried a CrossFit class. In all fairness, I need to give it another shot because I haven't. I don't think I gave it a fair shot. But
you didn't give it a fair shot.
She's going to make it to a Saturday class.
yeah, I'm gonna go to Dad's class.
That's a good class. That's a good class to start off with, the CrossFit endurance class. So
Yeah.
guess I'm gonna have to come all the way to CrossFit Beaumont now to get a good endurance class in that.
Yep, you're going to need to do that.
So what kind of fuels Jillian? What gives you the energy, the motivation to just do all these things you do and just keep driving and want to do new things and new challenges? Because like you said, a lot of times people tend to just settle with what they're used to. Mm-hmm. People don't like to get, like we say, uncomfortable. So how do you keep that mental toughness and that mind frame to keep challenging yourself?
So for me, I do well in all aspects of my life if I have something I'm working toward, whether it was, a bodybuilding show or getting a skydiving license. Even though that has nothing to do with like my career or anything, I do better like in my career and personal life when I have goals that I'm working toward. I find if I don't set goals like throughout the year, I kind of lose motivation.
That is true. Yeah, you get lost.
I do. I'm like, what am I waking up for again? I like to have reasons to keep getting up in the morning.
And that's what a guy asked me, why do you want to do an Ironman? Why do you want to do a marathon? Because it's a goal. It's something to do. It's something to work towards instead of just getting lost and not doing anything.
The theme of what, our third show, Ernest, or the fourth show? Setting goals and achieving. So is there a whole show on that?
So is there like a strategy you use when you're setting goals to make sure you stick to them, or is it just kind of a mental thing you just keep track of?
I have everything laid out on my calendar. Deadlines I need to meet, whether it's for work and my personal life. And then kind of at the beginning of the year, people make New Year's resolutions. I decide what I want to accomplish that year, my big goals. I always have my short-term goals, but maybe it was a bodybuilding show, which is what it was this year. Or maybe it's, I want to get this new certification. So I'm working on a new certification now that I'm super excited about.
What is this? What is this certification?
So it's relatively new. It's called Yo Massage. And I got to do my first class. It's not available to the public yet here in Southeast Texas.
Okay.
But I'm going to be doing my certification for that to be a Yo Massage supporter. So it's where I would team up with a massage therapist, and it's taking yoga poses, but you're actually getting massage. I'm not the one that would do the massage. Obviously, the massage therapist would, but
a friend of mine actually had just done this.
Yeah. So that's coming soon to Southeast Texas.
So you can tell them y'all can knock off two birds with one stone.
Yeah, you can do yoga.
So you're saying I can go do yoga and get a massage at the same time? That saves so much time.
Well, I got my first experience like what your friends did, and I was like, I didn't really know what to expect. I'm like, this is amazing, and I can't wait for more people in Southeast Texas to experience it.
Really, see, that's what I need to sign up for. So you let us know when you start doing the yo massage. And that's something we'd be very interested in.
Yeah, so I'm super excited about that.
It's another notch on your belt.
I'm telling you, I'm so excited.
That's cool. Good to go. So so as we kind of wrap this whole thing up today, so what message would you like to leave the people out there in the community in the Southeast Texas and Houston area, the world, for all our people listening to us around the world? So
never think that any goal is too big to reach, or think any dream is too impossible, because if you would have asked me 5 years ago, hey, do you think that you could compete in a bodybuilding competition? I've been like, no. Do you think, even before I started running, do you think you could run a marathon? No, I can't even run a mile. Do you think that, you would ever be jumping out of airplanes as a certified skydiver? No. No. I was a very quiet and shy kid growing up.
Holy, you was quiet and you're very outgoing now.
Yeah, things have changed. And I think it's because I forced myself to get out there, set some goals, get involved in some things, and really that just helped me figure out who I was.
So I think I've seen some of your maybe Instagram posts or something. Your dad's fairly into working out and stuff too, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. He was a basketball player, and he stays in shape too. So he's always fun to work out with. Anytime I go home and visit, we got to get a workout in.
Cool. Where did he play basketball?
Oh, in high school.
In high school, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, but he'll still play if you ever want to play.
Really? No, I don't. I was trying to teach my daughter how to play basketball this morning, so it was pretty fun. So that's good. So where can the people find you at? What's your social media account so they could keep in touch with you, Jillian? And
yeah, so on Facebook, if you just type in Jillian Fertig, I'll pop up. I think I'm the only Jillian Fertig out there.
Okay.
That last time I checked anyways. Twitter, I'm also just at Jillian Fertig. Instagram at Jillian.Fertig.
Cool.
It's just my name. Simple to find.
Simple to find. That's easy. Some people, like in the industry or like media industry, has like these very weird names. Like, you know what? They didn't rattle off this whole at this, and I didn't forgot it already. I'm not even writing this down. It's good that you have just your name, so it's easy to come up with. So
yeah.
That's it.
Luckily, my last name's not too common, so none of the usernames are taken.
Yeah. Good to go. Well, we appreciate you joining the show today, and we thank you.
Fun.
Episode 6. This is fun. Hopefully, we can get you back on, and you can talk a little bit more about the your massage, and let me know when I could get your massage.
Yes,
get it
absolutely.
going, so.
And for anybody watching who's interested, we'll probably announce some things coming up. Just getting everything kind of set and ready to go for it. But
so people, look for that. Look for the whole yo massage thing. So, Thad, where can the people find you at? Where's your
on Instagram at King Thad, and Facebook just Thad King.
See, normally people would think that's a made up Instagram account, but it happened to be so cool. I was just thinking about that today. I say King Thad is a pretty cool Instagram name, and it's just your name.
Yeah, and that was something that got started in high school. Whenever I was in high school, that's what everybody called me.
Cool. She was a king. So it's better than just EJ Doyle. EJ _Doyle.
That's kind of dull.
It's all right, Dad. So people, thank you for listening to the show today. You can find us on Masters of Fitness on Podbean, Apple iTunes, Spotify, pretty much wherever you could locate podcasts.
And
also,
don't forget to go to Facebook and like and
there you go.
Follow our page.
Facebook, follow the page, follow us on YouTube. You can pretty much find us everywhere. So we'll have this video uploaded again on YouTube if you want to check it out and watch us. And once again, thank you, Jillian, for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks
for having you. Appreciate it. It was a blast, a good show. Like I said, our first celebrity that we have on our show. So let's give us a round of applause as we go out. So, all right, and thank you, everybody on Facebook and the Facebook community for being there with us today, and we appreciate you watching us. Right. Until next time.
Cue the cool drop. Drop.